Okay.
အားလုံးပဲမင်္ဂလာညချမ်းပါကျွန်တော်တို့ Elevate Education ရဲ့ဒီတစ်ခေါက် live season မှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီတစ်ခေါက်ဖိတ်ကြားထားတော့ကျွန်တော် Dusit Thani College အောက်မှာရှိတဲ့ Dusit Hospitality Academy ရဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ certificate program တွေအကြောင်းမိတ်ဆက်ပေးဖို့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ Dusit Thani College ရဲ့ director တယောက်ဖြစ်တဲ့ Mr. John Locke ကိုဖိတ်ကြားထားပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ Mr. John Locke ကဒီညမှာကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ Dusit Thani College အောက်မှာရှိတဲ့ Dusit Hospitality Academy ကဖွင့်လှစ်ထားတဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ hospitality science certificate program တွေအကြောင်းမိတ်ဆက်ပေးမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်မြန်မာကျောင်းသားတွေအနေနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီထိုင်းနိုင်ငံမှာကျွန်တော်ဒီ hospitality science ဒီရက်တူ program တွေတက်ဖို့ခွင့်ရေးပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ကျောင်းသားတိုင်းကကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ၄နှစ် program တွေတက်ဖို့အတွက်အချိန်မပေးနိုင်ဘူးကျွန်တော်တို့ budget ခက်ခဲရှိတဲ့ကျောင်းသားတွေအတွက်ဒီခွင့်ရေးရန်ကောင်းတဲ့အစီအစဉ်ပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ Mr. John Law ကျွန်တော် state ပေါ်ဖိတ်ခေါ်ပါမယ် Hello John
Hey Andrew
Good evening from Bangkok.
Right. So, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. So we are very glad to have you today. Uh, like Dusit College is quite a very prominent institution in Thailand as well as in Asia. Dusit Hospitality Academy provides the short courses for the hospitality training. So, uh, can you share me a little bit about your background and your roots at Dusit College, and then like the purpose of the institution, like why the institutions open the short courses, because like we already have like 4-year programs.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, as you said, Dusit College is quite well known in Thailand and across Southeast Asia. We're the first and the largest hospitality school dedicated to hospitality education and training. What that means is like we are a hospitality school, not a university with a department of hospitality. So we've been around for over 30 years, and as you said, we're best known for our bachelor's programs. We have bachelor's
Right.
programs in culinary arts and hospitality management, both delivered in Thai as well as in English for the international programs. And those programs go quite well. The international programs tend to attract talents from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, India, Philippines, even parts of Europe. But the Dusit Hospitality Academy is a different approach. In the
Right.
past, we did short courses like learn to cook, learn a dish, learn a couple days learning revenue management or sales management. But we never did a program about developing talents to truly take someone
Mm.
who has almost little to no experience, give them the right tools, the right knowledge, the right training to produce them into a talent that can do the job on day one. That's really the purpose of the top program.
Right. So like, can you share me a little bit about your roots at Dusit College?
My role, yeah. So as executive
Yep.
director of external affairs, I look after all of the admissions, the marketing, but also the international and industry relations. And I've been at the college for about a year, but I came from a background of working with over 400 hospitality schools about training and placement in the industry. So this is a world I come from quite well. I'm originally from the US. I studied in Switzerland. I lived in 7 different countries. And I've also worked for associations like the American Hotel Lodging Association, and a couple other private Swiss schools. So I think I have a pretty good understanding both of what the schools currently deliver and what the industry wants. And that's actually why I created this program, because there's a gap. Our students who come into the bachelor program, they're great, but they spend 4 years of their time. They invest a significant amount of money, and when they get out, they want to be managers and they want to be right up really quick climbing the ladder, and that's okay. But the industry actually needs thousands and thousands of well trained, dedicated, hardworking, loyal people who want to get into the industry from the bottom up, to be a cook, a waiter, a chef, to be a front office executive, to be a guest service relation, to be a housekeeper. And they value these people so much right now. And so my feeling was, if Top can essentially sort of crystallize what's done in the bachelor's program, deliver it at more of a training basis, and channel it to a job, in as much as we can guarantee a job. We never can guarantee a job, but in as much as we can try to make sure that the talents get the jobs, because as I'll later explain, we're owned by a hotel company, then that's the best way we can benefit the talent and the best way we can benefit the industry.
Right. So like let's go for your introduction and the presentation,
Yeah, if
Sherry.
you like. Sure. Yeah, go ahead and share.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really kind of explained your question in the first couple minutes here. Dusit College is the first and largest institute dedicated to hospitality education and training. And this top program is one of the programs within what we call the Dusit Hospitality Academy. So not to get confused, anytime I say Dusit College, that means degree programs. Anytime I say Dusit Hospitality Academy, it means non-degree programs. So what's interesting is we are owned by Dusit International, the college. For those listening who don't know of Dusit International, it's one of the largest and one of the first luxury hospitality brands originating in Southeast Asia, specifically Thailand. Now they have almost 300 properties around the world. One unique aspect is that they created a college almost 30 years ago, not just to train people to work for the hotel, Dusit hotels, but to lift up the level of training and expertise in Thailand to attract more international tourists. And of course, Dusit can't take all this credit, but by and large, Thailand very much established itself as a hub of tourism across Southeast Asia. And of course, Bangkok is one of the most visited cities in the world. So having that origin, that roots with hotels, not just being an academic standalone institution, but very much aligning our programs to training to jobs, that further sort of motivated us to create TOP, as I said in the beginning, to get trained and get a job. So if you look at the program, and we'll do that over the next couple minutes, we really wanted to focus on two core areas. And those are professional restaurant manager and guest service professional. Now, those two programs are the options that a talent, and I say talent, basically all of you listening, I call a student like a talent, right? Those are the two options that talents have to join TOP. They either choose professional restaurant manager or they choose guest service professional. It's not together, just so you know. So, for everyone listening, I know you're from Myanmar and the surrounding area, and I'm sure that the idea of coming to Thailand can be a bit scary, a bit challenging. But that's also why I believe we're well positioned to run this program, because we already have a system in place to handle education visas. We have over 20 different nationalities at the college, and for each of those students, we provide visa services. Therefore, for all of the top students coming to us, we'll do exactly the same. So when you enter in this program, it is a 6-month program. That's important for you to know. Now, those 6 months are broken down into 2 months of training, which means basically both classroom or maybe on-site, but definitely learning and doing what you need to know. And then 4 months of internship. And again, because we're uniquely aligned to Dusit International Hotels, we can very easily offer internships, both with Dusit or with any other luxury 4 or 5-star property. We use the same department at the college, the career relations department, to offer those internships. And again, we have partnerships with over 100 different hotels around Bangkok region and many, many more outside Bangkok and even internationally. But the point is that we help you get that visa. So, and that's also what's really important working with Elevate to make sure that the process is clear and followed. Everything from we provide you the registration form, to we provide you the letter of acceptance, to we ask you for the fees, to giving the receipt for the fees, to Elevate providing you the right documents, and us as well to go to the embassy. And then, of course, once you have your visa, we welcome you to Thailand and we make sure that you are set up with your accommodation and all the rest. Some of you may already be in Bangkok or coming to Bangkok, then we'll work on converting those visas from travel visas to education visas. The point is we have a team for this, and we are experienced in over 30 years of doing it. So that, I guess, should be the least of your worries if you decide to come into this program. So you come to Thailand, you have your visa arranged. Then, as I said, you choose your program. And after you're done with that 2-month training, you will get a certificate from Dusit Thani College upon completion. So that's a certificate. That's not diploma, that's not bachelor, that's certificate level. That's to show you learned with a higher education institute such as the college. Yeah. Then you're going to start that 4-month internship, as I said, either as a Dusit international property or a similar hotel property. You will be given a list and you will be able to give your preferences. But ultimately, if you cannot get your preference, we will assign you an internship. Yeah. So then when you finish the internship, if it's with a Dusit property, and I very be specifically, if it is with a Dusit property, Dusit will guarantee a small stipend payment while you're an intern. It's roughly 4,000 baht a month. That is a corporate policy that I have helped create with Dusit Hotels to make sure we give some kind of support while students on internship. Other properties may vary. Some may provide, some may not provide. It's going to be a case-by-case scenario. Yeah. And then when you're done with that internship, you have a couple options. You can either say, thank you, go back home. You can say, I may want to do an advanced program of top, which I'll explain that later in a bit moment. Or you may say, I really want to work with that property I did my internship with. And that again is an arrangement we have with Dusit Hotels that it cannot guarantee the job, but it will fast track it. It will make sure that you are essentially at the front of the line for employment potential, but you still have to pass the employment requirements of Dusit International in order to be fully employed. But once you are, it is a high priority of Dusit to take talents, both from the top program and from the bachelor programs. So that is a big focus of the corporate company, just so you're aware. And if you don't take the employment right away and then you go into the advanced program, why you would maybe do that is because you have interest in having an international job. The advanced is going to deliver more skills, more knowledge, but it's also going to double down on languages. We may have a program dedicated to Japanese, so you can go to Japan. We may have a program dedicated in French, so you can do internships and hopefully later full-time jobs in France. We may even have programs dedicated in Mandarin to go to China, or focusing more on English to go to the Middle East. The point is that the advanced is about the channel to go out of Thailand. Yeah. And finally, you may say, you know what? I actually would love to get my bachelor's degree. That's where the credits earned in top will transfer into our bachelor's program. It'll be roughly 15 hours of credits, which is equivalent to about half a semester. So you can come directly into the bachelor's program, save a little bit of money because it's less expensive to study top than to do those credits at the college. And then you continue your bachelor's. Yeah. So that's the whole pathway we've designed here. Trying to make it simple, trying to make it effective, and trying to channel you to the job. Yeah. So we talk all about gain experience, get a job, and advance your career in hospitality. But remember, we're also talking to employers. So when we speak to an employer, we say that within 6 months, you can have a well-trained waiter, server, or steward coming from this program. Or if you take the guest service professional as a talent, they could expect having a porter, a room attendant, or a front office attendant, or even a guest service executive coming out in 6 months. After the 9-month program, with again more skills and languages, you can expect maybe more a bartender, mixologist, or a wine waiter in terms of restaurant professional. Or for guest service professional, being a proper guest service agent or receptionist. So that's the language that the industry recognizes. Frankly, they don't care so much about the details of the training, the curriculum of the training. They care, are you a good talent? Did you work hard? Did you perform well in your internship? And can you do the job? And that's why I laser focus this program on those specific jobs. Yeah. Now, again, what's really unique about our college and this program is the connection to Dusit. Yeah. So, as I said, the talents who complete the foundation or the advanced will be given priority status at a Dusit International property. But what are those properties? Well, they vary a lot in terms of everything from mid-scale to ultra luxury. I'll just briefly go through some of these brands because I think it could be useful for you regardless in the future. So let's just say you're the kind of person who doesn't want to be in this sort of luxury, let's say a little bit stressful environment. You want to be in a cool, relaxed, kind of urban wellness kind of place. Then Asai is for you. Asai is a brand created actually by our future CEO, who right now is the VP of development. His name's Kun Champ, like champion, and he's not even 40 years old. He's one of the youngest millennial leaders across Southeast Asia for hospitality. And he created Asai for that kind of audience, people who want a reasonable price, a great location, and a very chill vibe. Yeah. So maybe if that's your kind of style, Asai is it. You go one level up, you have Dusit Princess, which is one of the classic brands from Dusit. It's usually about 4-star plus, upper mid-scale. Usually not quite as hip locations as Asai, but maybe more of a business location. You go up from there, you have D2 and Dusit Suites, which is going to give a higher level of service and will also be, again, more in central locations. And after that, you get into the classic Dusit Thani property. This is the one that everyone knows across Southeast Asia. We have Dusit Bangkok, which is our flagship, which is now being redeveloped right now in the center of Bangkok. It was the first 5-star hotel in all of Thailand. Now it's being brought back to its former glory. And there are Dusit Thanis in Pattaya, Hua Hin, outside Thailand, and for example, in Manila in the Philippines, They're in Abu Dhabi, they're in Dubai. They are the flagship luxury property. Then Dusit Residences is more about long stay residences, but with the feel of Dusit Thani. And then when you get into elite havens, they're actually luxury villas. They have something like 200 all around Southeast Asia, many in Maldives, kind of private villas with maybe only 3 to 4 rooms. Dusit Collection, which is about taking historical properties and actually sort of renovating them to match the Dusit brand. And then finally, Devarana at the ultra luxury level is all about spa and wellness. Many of those are rolling out in China, for example. So you have an entire ecosystem here of Dusit at all levels. But regardless, all of them are taking interns from top, whether it will be Asai or Devarana or Dusit Thani. They're all extremely interested in attracting these talents. Now, I mentioned briefly Dusit Bangkok. I just want to focus a bit more how important this is for our group. Dusit Thani Bangkok is a 1.4 billion project covering 440,000 square meters. Yeah, it's that much. Situated in a prime business location next to one of Bangkok's largest and most attractive urban parks, Lumpini Park. Anyone's been to Bangkok, it's right in the heart of town. It's going to include a Dusit Thani Bangkok hotel, 5-star, 5-star plus. Yeah, it's going to include a Dusit Residences, a super luxury residence with 2 concepts under Dusit Residences. It's going to have a central park, a world-class retail and shopping center. It's going to have the Central Park offices, which are LEED and CBD certified. So it's some of the most innovative, sustainable offices in Thailand, actually. And it's going to have Thailand's biggest roof park. This is an ultra mega project. And frankly, by going through top, you have a chance to intern or work at this property. There'll be roughly 25 full-time jobs offered to students from top upon completion. Again, also upon passing the quite stringent and difficult but doable requirements for working at Dusit Thani Bangkok. So this is a very unique opportunity to get the inside access to one of the most iconic, famous properties in all of Southeast Asia. And remember, it's not just Southeast Asia. There are almost 300 properties around the world of Dusit. As you can kind of see here a little bit from the map, you have a lot in China. You have, of course, Thailand has quite a few. The Philippines. But we also have Egypt. We have Oman. We have Saudi Arabia. There's more coming in Saudi Arabia as we speak. The UAE, and even Europe. We have our first property in Greece, and there'll be multiple properties coming in Germany and even the United States. Dusit has planned to roughly have another 60 plus hotel management projects in the pipeline in the next 2 to 3 years. So it's one of the fastest growing brands in Southeast Asia and also across the world. Yeah. So finally, when can you come? Well, and how much is it? That's always important. As you see below, and I know it's a bit small print, the first intake for top, which is going to be, again, the restaurant professional and guest service professional, is going to happen in August 21st to be exact. Now, as you know, with coming to Thailand, you need to have your visas really ready and in place, I'd say maybe a month before coming to be safe. And that's where Elevate can help you a lot. So if you're interested, you could enter into the August 21st intake of top. You would then have, as I said, the 2 month of training, followed by the 4 month of internship, and then your options, right? Your options of either do the advanced or go home or try to work for the employer you had, etc. Yeah. So 21st of August is the next upcoming intake. Then again, there'll be one on the 24th of October. Yeah. And after that, there'll be also one then in January, and then finally one in March. Yeah. So again, obviously 2 months, 4 months, 2 months, 4 months. Now you might notice down there something that says professional chef and professional pastry chef. We have these programs, but they are currently in Thai. But we're planning to offer those in English starting around January of 2025. So I'm sure Elevate can inform you, but when we're ready, we'll be having those professional chef programs in English. And that will focus a lot on Thai cuisine, as well as other Asian cuisines, as well as Western cuisine. And then those jobs will lead to chef, commis chef, etc. at Dusit or any other international properties. Everything always costs in life, and of course our program isn't free, but I think we've created a very affordable, realistic program. So both programs are offered at roughly 50,000 Thai baht. That is the entire price for the program. the 2-month training and the 4-month of internship. That comes out to roughly $1,350. Now, it doesn't include accommodation, it doesn't include food and beverage, it doesn't include flight tickets. But as you might know, Bangkok is thankfully still quite an affordable destination compared to the size of the city. Staying in an apartment, either alone or with a roommate, may cost as low as $150 or $200 a month, depending where you are. If you're in the center or you're on the outside. Food can be very affordable, maybe $200, $300 a month, again, depending on what you eat, where you eat, and what level you like to eat at. But the point is that you wouldn't find those prices almost anywhere in major cities. I mean, Hong Kong, no way. Singapore, no way. Even Kuala Lumpur is getting quite expensive. So Bangkok still is an affordable and an attractive education and training destination. Yeah. So just in some final little nuances that are important, if you're interested in applying, you can do that through Elevate. Once we receive that application, we'll issue a letter of acceptance, and then we'll ask you to pay the fees. We do have to have you pay all the fees up front because you have to get a receipt. With that receipt, you then go to your embassy, and that will give you a much higher chance of getting the education visa than just saying, I have a registration form. We've seen this again and again. The receipt matters. But if for some reason you don't get that visa, we refund everything. We do not keep any processing fees or anything like that. We give it all back to you. Yeah. And then for any visa extension needs, let's say you're already in Bangkok, you want to transfer the tourism to the education, again, our team will assist there. So, yeah, I'll leave you with just a couple little pictures here from the program. Last year, we had 167 talents go through TOP. It was our first year offering it. This year, we have slated for roughly 400 students, and almost half of those we expect actually to come from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. And if that goes well, we're going to try to scale even to 400 or even 600 in the future. And we'll do that through a brand new dedicated training center in the heart of Bangkok. So whereas if you come in, let me go back one slide. If you come to TOP on the 21st of August, you're still going to be taking the program at Dusit Thani College, which is a little bit outside the center of Bangkok, maybe 25, 30 minutes by taxi. But if you come in October, you're going to be in the heart of Bangkok at our new training center, which is actually titled the Dusit Hospitality Academy. It has capacity up to 900 trainees, and you're in the very heart of town. The malls are everywhere. Still good, cheap, good street foods also close by, and accommodation as well. So yeah, you see here some of our students from our professional chef programs. You see some of the students in the computer lab talking about guest service and other areas. Here you see also some of our students in the programs learning about Grab, for example. You can expect a class of roughly 25 to 30, can be up to 40, depending. And frankly, you can expect a class of your peers. Most of the top talents do come from Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam. We don't get too many ties, but they're all in the same boat. I say that as American idiom, but they're all in the same situation, right? They've all maybe come from their countries. They're entering the program for the first time, maybe a bit nervous, but everyone grows together. And at the end, it also becomes a nice network to have of your colleagues and peers. So yeah, that is the TOP program. If you're interested, Elevate can give you more details. I want to end this, and we'll of course take some questions with two things to show you. One is a short video from one of our past TOP participants. His name is Rudy, and Rudy actually did our restaurant training program. And Andrew, if you can load that video, you can kind of see the story of Rudy and why
the TOP program.
So just a moment, please. Here we go.
Any property around the world at that similar hospitality level. As we've just heard, the TOP program offers a fast-track path to a successful hospitality career. But who better to tell us more about it than somebody actually experiencing it firsthand? Today, we're fortunate to be here with Rudy Witcher, who's studying the TOP program in restaurant management. When did you first hear about the TOP program and what made you decide to join?
I began considering this around September last year. So after being self-employed for about 8 years, I realized that I enjoy my time within an organization more, and from the bad experiences running a small coffee shop in Chiang Mai and selling cookies at malls and Jatujak market in Bangkok, I think I will need to update my knowledge and skills if I were to restart my career in hospitality. And two options crossed my mind: professional guest service and professional restaurant manager. My past experience always connected to F&B, and that's why the professional restaurant manager program is the perfect fit for me.
So can you tell us some of the highlights you've experienced so far?
I feel that this program has prepared me to a solid foundation of basic knowledge to re-enter the hospitality industry. The combination of theoretical and practical training has helped me to understand not only how, but why I must deliver excellent customer service. The highlight of this program is like everyone is guaranteed a 3-month internship at Dusit hotels. I believe there is no other education institution outside Dusit Thani College in Bangkok has offered this kind of program.
So my grand vision is to take Top and franchise it. What if we could have partners in Myanmar and Cambodia, in Laos, in Vietnam, who would be allowed to offer the Top program in their home countries? They will basically take our expertise, bring it to those countries, and develop manpower to develop their own tourism industry. We will link that opportunity to coming to Bangkok again for the Dusit internship and to take the advanced program. I'm developing the franchise model. I'm going to roll it out across all Southeast Asia, and that should produce even higher volumes of talent for Dusit hotels, but coming from critical Southeast Asian countries.
As you can see, there are lots of exciting developments going on here at Dusit Thani College. In fact, they sound so good, they make me want to go back to school again myself, if only. If you have any questions about the programs mentioned in this episode, please drop a comment down below or send an email to lobby@dusit.com and we'll be delighted to assist you. Until next time, take care, stay gracious, and keep up the awesome work. Swadee Kap.
Thank you, Andrew, for showing that. And finally, Andrew, if you can just put the flyer. There we go. Okay, so if you all are watching and listening and you want to take a quick snapshot of that with your phones, that's really the main thing I showed you today. The 5 steps to the program: to come to Thailand, get trained, gain experience, get a job, continue learning, or go abroad. And remember, with that continue learning, that's about either entering into the advanced program of Top, transferring your credits to Dusit Thani College, or doing the advanced program and then using those language skills to get a job abroad. You can see there the 4 entry dates listed. I know there's been a question here about that. So again, 21st of August, 24th of October, 13th of January, 10th of March. There you see the 50,000 Thai baht, which is the fees. And I did have a question regarding timing. I actually need to update this. It will be, let's say, Monday through Friday, but frankly, guys, there also might be needs for you to come in on a Saturday or a Sunday, depending on the training requirements. Because remember, during the 2-month training, it's not just sitting in the classroom, it's also going to be exposure to the environments. We may have to bring you into a hotel or restaurant to get exposed to those on a weekend. What I'm saying is that your study schedule will be set when you come to Bangkok, but you should consider it full time. You should consider this a full-time commitment. It won't go into evenings, so if you have jobs or activities in the evenings, that'll be fine. But Monday through Friday, roughly 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, could be weekends, would be the best way to think of it. Yeah. Okay, so those were 2 questions that I saw. Andrew, maybe you want to open up for any more?
So like we're gonna take a 1-minute break and then we're back for the Q&A. So John, so
Okay.
after that we will have like a couple of questions at our end and from the audience.
Okay. Thank you. We'll be back.
All right. Okay. All right. So 10 minute break ယူပါမယ်ပြီးရင်ကျွန်တော်တို့ Q&A session စပါမယ် so မိကုန်းတွေရှိရဆိုလို့ရှိရင် comment မှာထည့်ထားလို့ရပါတယ် အားလုံးပဲမင်္ဂလာပါကျွန်တော်တို့ live stream ကိုပြန်ပြီးတော့စပါမယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်နဲ့အတူကျွန်တော်တို့ Dusit Thani College ရဲ့ director တက်ဖြစ်တဲ့ Mr. John Law နဲ့အတူရှိနေပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ John Law ကအဓိကကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ Dusit Hospitality Academy မှာတက်လို့ရမယ့် program တွေအကြောင်းကိုရှင်းပြပေးသွားတာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့အခု session ကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Q&A ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ Elevate Education အနေနဲ့ရောကျွန်တော်တို့ကျောင်းသားတွေပို့ပြီးတော့တည်အောင်ပို့ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ program အကြောင်းလည်းပို့နားလည်အောင်ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘက်ကပြင်ဆင်ထားတဲ့မိကွန်းတွေရှိပါတယ်so John we were stuck for the Q&A at our end so like John like the programs like as we mentioned previously like there are like 4-year programs like offered by a lot of institutions in Thailand like Bangkok University almost like every university provide like 4-year programs but most of the students like they can't afford like 4-year program they don't have time or maybe like some students they already have like reached to a certain age like 25 26 and they're not so sure about what career they should choose it's like we all have that kind of experience like in our lifetime so like some students they would like to work in another country like Thailand so they would like to choose something that is affordable for them so like Dusit top program so like back on the other hand they would like to make sure that like they will be ready for the job market so like this kind of program like you offer like guest service and professional restaurant program so like who are they designed for like are you designed for the student who are graduated from high school or are you designed for university graduate who do not know what to do or maybe they would like to start like professional career in hospitality and tourism something like that
I mean the answer to your question is both right it's really for career starters career switchers and career climbers yeah if you're a career starter and you're not bachelor bound, I mean, let's be honest, you don't need a bachelor's degree to work in hospitality. You don't. And the employers don't expect it. Now, if you want to have a bachelor's and you want to quickly climb in hospitality, there is an advantage to having that because you come more into management. But you'll also get to management by working there. That's the funny thing, So you can have a high school degree from a school in Myanmar or anywhere around Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. You need to have a high school degree. That is a prerequisite. And you do need to be able to speak some English, obviously, because this program is taught in English, but not at the level of English required for an academic study at our college. You're not going to be reading, case studies and doing research programs and writing theses. You're going to be learning, training, and working. So the level of English is equivalent to roughly maybe a 4.0 IELTS. That would be on average what we'd be looking for, but we don't actually set a specific, you must have this or that, that all comes in the process of application. So to your question, it's for someone who's starting their career and someone who's maybe switching their career. I mean, I started off, I actually didn't study hospitality. I studied international business in German. I speak German. And I wanted to get into hospitality. Well, I frankly took a very expensive master's program in Switzerland, very expensive for what you get from it. And then I entered the industry and I was sitting there working with people who didn't do an expensive master's program in Switzerland, So if you maybe studied something else, but you want to get into hospitality, especially on the restaurant track, I really find that people who do this are entrepreneurial. They want to, as Rudy, even in the video, he said, look, I had a small business. I was at Chatuchak Market, but I was limited in my knowledge. And I was limited in my skills and my network. So he came into Top, he got the skills, he got into Dusit, and now he may stay with Dusit or he can start his own business. So if you're entrepreneurial, you want to start your own restaurant, which is actually one of the easier steps into hospitality, Top Foundation and Top Advanced is really going to be perfect for you. Now, it's not just easy to make a hotel, right? But if you truly have a passion for people, of delivering guest service, I was in one of the top programs doing the induction the other day, and a young woman from Myanmar, I asked her, why are you in this program? And she just said, I enjoy delighting others. And I want to actually do this guest service program to maybe go work on the cruise lines. Fantastic. But this is going to give her the foundation to go do that. Yeah. And if you are a career climber, maybe you are working for a small local hotel, but it's not a big brand. They don't have global expansion. They don't have corporate training programs. They're just tiny. This gives you that pathway into the major corporate companies. And frankly, you can then springboard to whatever you want. If you get in with Dusit and you have the Dusit pedigree on your CV, you can jump. You can jump to Banyan Tree, you can jump to Minor, you can jump to Marriott, to Hilton, to Accor. You just got to get that step in there. Because if you come from, I'll just say, random 2-3 star hotel in city no one's heard of, they can't relate to it. They say, oh, Dusit Thani Bangkok, oh, Pattaya, wherever. It'll be on level. And then you can use that to up. Of course, we'd love if you would stay with Dusit, but your career will take you where it can. But for the career starter, the career climber, and the career switcher, that's Andrew who the program is made for.
Right. So like for Myanmar student, like probably like the larger population would probably be the high school graduates.
Mhm.
So like most of the student, like their frequent question would be like, would that be enough to start like 6-month program and go to the job, or maybe go to the industry, or like the employer, are they ready to accept that kind of like short-term programs, or like what their worry is that like they don't have a degree, or like even like 1-year program, like guest service, plagues, professional restaurant manager program. After that 1 year, like two program combined, would that be enough to get a job in Thailand at least?
Well, again, for Dusit, it's absolutely yes, as long as you are passing their job requirements, right? Beyond just taking the program. I mean, you can't have a criminal record. You have to perform.
Right.
You have to have the Dusit DNA, right? Otherwise, forget it. But again, let's say you take our top program. You're at Dusit Thani College, at the first and largest school in the country. And you don't go to Dusit. You go to Accor. You go to Wyndham. You go to Hilton. You're asking for, again, let's be realistic. You're not asking to walk in there and be the front office manager. You're not asking to be the front office, the F&B director.
Right.
You're saying, I want to be a cook, a waiter, I want a chef. I want to start. I want to begin my career with you. You immediately have a leg up. And I think some colleges also have short courses, and that's great. But again, we are so industry aligned that those employers know that we are a practical training college. We're not a highly theoretical academic institution. So, and remember, also at the end of the program, you're already going to have work experience on your CV from that property. So ideally, you should transform that internship into a full-time job with the property. That'd be your best shot. If you don't want to, fine, switch and apply somewhere else. You're going to have the training certificate from us and the 4-month internship on your CV. And yes, Andrew, I do think, given the manpower shortages in the industry and the quality of our program, yeah, I'm quite sure talents would get a job. Now, the issue is always the visa, right? That is always the challenging thing. But this is a bit of an advantage with Dusit, that we are working extra hard with them to make sure we fast track that, regardless if you're from Myanmar, from Cambodia, from Laos, from Vietnam. There's even a slightly higher expense sometimes employers have to pay in hiring international talents. Dusit has committed to do that. Yeah.
Right. So like, what is your suggestion? Like, students should attend both classes, or just one class would be enough?
It really depends on what they want. So let me take professional restaurant manager, for example. If you want to open up your own business, foundation is not enough. Foundation is the first program, right? Because in the advanced, we're going to go through sales, marketing, menu planning, business planning, simulated restaurant environments. We're really going to teach you how to actually open up your own restaurant. That's very much particularly the focus of the advanced program. For the advanced in guest service, it's going to double down a lot on languages. We're going to have our Japanese program coming up pretty soon. And that's going to be somebody who's going to want to get more into hotel management, being a duty manager, a front office manager. And frankly, you won't get there with just the foundation. That's going to be more reception. That's going to be more guest service. But essentially, it's going to be doing at the first level and managing at the second level in terms of outputs. But remember, you can always start, go to the industry, and come back. And that might even be a better idea. Take that Dusit internship or that job you get, and if you see a limitation, come back into the program. It'll be offered every couple months.
Okay, so let's talk about the internship. Like some of the students, like actually, like they have same questions. Like internship would be like paid internship or like unpaid internship. So if it is a paid internship, how much could it be, or So do you have like any suggestion for the student? Like should student hope to get like internship fee, or like they shouldn't focus on the internship fee, or just do their own job and then
Honestly,
focus on job and then late. Yeah.
To be very, very honest, I think it's a 50-50. Again, with Dusit, we know they're offering the 4,000 baht, but that's not a lot. That's roughly, I think, $150 a month. So maybe if you have a simple accommodation, that would cover your accommodation. But you have food and beverage, you have transport. It's not expensive in Bangkok, but it's still a cost. So I do encourage students when they come into this program to either A, have an alternative revenue stream available for however long they're going to be here, or B, have a little bit of savings to be able to support themselves during the internship period, in the training period. That's the safest way to do this.
Right. So because if you are attending a class, like you can work part-time or full-time in Thailand as a student, it is a something that students should avoid. So should focus on the training, right?
I mean,
Okay.
look,
So
I'm not going to tell people what to do, but generally you could have time evenings to work if you're doing this program, but it could also be quite draining. And also remember, it's difficult to do that in Thailand as a whole.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does it provide internship outside of Thailand? So can you please explain a little bit about the internship in other countries, like France, that like you mentioned?
Okay.
Like maybe Japan, something that
Okay, so it's going to be a bit specific when you talk about outside of Thailand. So let me just mention a couple ones you already said. So France, we don't have a Dusit property in France yet. But what I've actually done is I've arranged for an agency to work with the top program to provide internships in France when you finish. This program is called CIF, Culinary Internship France. They provide a 6-month internship in France, which will include accommodation, will include food and beverage, and of course also includes a pretty attractive salary, roughly 600 to 700 euros per month. But you're not going to be in Paris. You're not going to be in the heart of Bordeaux. You're going to be in smaller cities. But remember, France is one of the most visited cities on earth in terms of tourism. So I really like this group because they have opportunities that are fair and they have fees that are fair. I mean, later on, what we'll do is when you come to top, we invite representatives of that program to present to you all the options. But they arrange for that job, they arrange for the visa, they arrange for transportation. I mean, you have to buy your flight ticket, but they help you along the way. And frankly, they cost roughly 1,000 euros for all their services of providing that internship in France. And frankly, if you go to US under like a J1 visa, it's like $5,000, sometimes $8,000. So it's actually a pretty good deal, I think. So example, France, that'd be CIF. Now, if you're going to go to Japan, it's another story. You must get Japanese language training. We will be working with one of the largest agencies in Japan to do that. The really nice thing about the Japanese program is that the employer pays everything. So the employer pays for the training, the employer pays for the languages, the employer pays for hiring, not the talent. But you got to take time. You have to take time to learn Japanese. You have to take time to pass a Japanese skills test, which is delivered in Japanese. So if you are dedicated and want to go to Japan, we're going to have that pathway in place, but you have to be disciplined for it. You have to be ready for it. But the jobs in Japan are quite good. And once you're there, it's quite easy to stay, to continue that visa. Yeah, that's an example with Japan. And then if you're looking at Middle East, frankly, that's probably going to be the area that'll be easiest for us to arrange internships in, both in our Dubai property as well as Abu Dhabi. So we have, as well as we have a lot of really exciting developments coming up in Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So like we will go to the questions from the audience. So like what one audience acts like, she is currently in any university in Myanmar. So her question is like, where she get a job, like full-time job after internship?
The question is job after internship?
Yeah. She would like, she would like to make sure that like she will get a job after internships. Like, is there any preparations? Like, John, you mentioned a lot about the internship in France, like internship in Japan. It's like it's not for everyone, right? It's not for
No.
all the students in one class, right? Not for like all the 14 students.
No, the most common track for the students in the class after doing their internship with the Dusit property, and what I'd recommend is that they apply for a job with that property. The managers will have met the students, they know how they work, they see if they get along, and they have an easy track to gain employment with that Dusit property. Now, it doesn't have to be that property. They can apply for a different property, but because you don't have that relationship built, it may not be quite as advantageous, But like you said, the France is a very specific opportunity. If you really want to do that, Japan is a very specific opportunity. But the general biggest opportunity is do or try to get a job with the employer who offered you that internship first.
Right. So like just trying to do like your best at the internship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Prove you're worth it, Yeah.
Right. Okay. To the next question. Like, look, for the guest service, like student need to do like night shift when they do the internship?
No, we're not. Night shift's a different story. That would actually really require more of a night manager and or a kind of a shadowing of the night manager. Now, maybe after you're done with your internship, maybe you'll be offered an assistant night manager position. I did it myself actually in Thailand back in 2008. But no, the internships will not require night shifts. That isn't to say 100%. We could have an employer who might offer that. I guess I won't take it off the table. But so far, we've never had it. It's always been day or evening. Yeah.
All right. So next question would be like, you probably answered already, but for the programs, like just want to clarify, like the program would be like Monday to Friday, right? Student need to be ready for the whole week, right?
They need to be ready for the whole week, and they need to expect at least, we'll have the calendar ready by the time they enter, but they need to expect that they may be asked to work a couple weekends too, depending on the calendar.
Right. Okay.
Work or train, I should say. Work or train.
Nice. Okay. Next question. So like next intake would be October?
Well, no, the next intake's August 21st, right? And that one you'll be again taking the program at our college. And then on October 24th will be the intake after that. And that will be at our training center in the heart of Bangkok. Same program, just different location. So.
Okay. So another question would be like, yeah, can you see the question, right? So like,
yes.
Yeah, she would like to ask like whether she would be trained to be a manager in advanced class.
Advanced guest service. Yeah. So advanced guest service is definitely going to be more into managing teams, right? Maybe you're looking at schedule, conflict resolution, supervision, yeah, a bit into finance, a bit into marketing, a bit into sales. Whereas the foundation is going to be more about understanding the guest expectations, understanding the guest cycle, understanding the front office operations. Now, I'm not going to say you couldn't be a manager when finishing foundation. If you have the skills, great. But what will teach you, what we'll focus on in advance, will be more assistant manager, manager position topics.
Okay, so John, like that does it for the audience questions. So we would like to round up for live stream. So like students they are thinking to join 4-year programs, and then they on the other hand they're thinking to have shorter programs. So like would you recommend to choose short program, or would you recommend to go for like 4-year programs? It's like sometimes like student they don't want to spend money from the parents, like they are like okay, I just want to spend some money and like just go for the job market, like they just want to have a job like after like 1 year. That's it. So like what is your suggestion? Like you are taking care of like Dusit College and Dusit Hospital Academy at the same time, so all the students. So like what is your suggestion on that kind of situation that students have?
You have so many different scenarios. I mean, sometimes you have a scenario where the parents are saying you must get a bachelor's, and then there's really no discussion, right? It's that the student's chosen hospitality or culinary arts in our case, and off they go. And if that's not the case, however, if the student is thinking, well, I want to study hospitality management, or I want to study culinary arts, but I don't know where, I don't know what it's like, it wouldn't hurt doing the top program, because you're going to get a taste for it. Remember, we built this with the exact same curriculum that's found in our bachelor program. We just condensed it down. Yeah, we took out some of the theory and we kept more of the practice, right? So what better way to kind of carefully test your interest than doing a 2-month program followed by a 4-month internship? You may say, wow, this is not for me. I'm glad I didn't waste 4 years studying it. You may go into business or architecture or whatever. Or you may find, oh, this is great. And if you come to our college, the credits will transfer. You may go to another college, fine. Or you may say, this is great, but I was planning on going to, I don't know, Switzerland or America. You say, but it's not worth that big of an investment. Maybe I look for universities closer to home. Point is that testing can't hurt if you have a little bit of that extra money to invest in the program. That would be, I think, the smartest way to do it. And it's too bad that you can't, test out pre-med, test out being an engineer, test out something. If we could do that, I think far more students would be able to take educated decisions in choosing a 4-year expensive program.
Right. So like let's say like I'm like middle-aged guy, like probably like not middle-aged, like a little bit older compared to like high school graduate, probably like 28, 29, 30. It's like, am I ready to switch my career? Am I ready to start a like career in hospitality and like joining the AC program, top program, and then after that I join in like I work for a job, something like this. Can I compete with the young talent, or can I stay create my career? It's like at that age.
I think you absolutely can. And when I look at the average age of the top students from the last intakes we've had, they're older. They're not this typical age of a student starting a bachelor's program, 21, 19, 20. We have some that were 40. The average age was actually 26 coming into top. We had some that did construction in the past and wanted to get in the hotels. We had some that were actually pre-law and wanted to open up their own restaurant. So it really varies a lot. The only caveat I'll say is that if you're above, let's say 35, there might be a little bit more difficulty getting the internship, not because we won't arrange it, but because employers might preference a bit younger people. But honestly, we don't have any evidence of that. We're just told that that could be a problem. But really, this program's for anybody. It really is. It's quite funny. The Dusit Thani Bangkok, when it was ripped down, when this gorgeous building was ripped down to be rebuilt again, the company retained all of their staff by giving them jobs in other places. And now we're bringing those staff back. And so the doorman might be 60 years old, but that's the same doorman who was working the Dusit Thani College in the 1970s. And can you imagine the stories and the history and the value that that doorman brings rather than some 19-year-old kid? So Dusit does value the person. It's not just about the job, you know. So my point is that we'll look at every application. If we think you are maybe not qualified or maybe you wouldn't be accepted to internship, we'll tell you. But hospitality is for everybody. I mean, you can be 50 and 60, you can still join this industry, start a restaurant, be a bartender, be a guest service agent because you want to delight people. So I don't think there's really a big limit to age.
Right. So we have got like one more question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first on the English question, again, we don't have an exact entry IELTS or TOEFL or anything like this because we didn't want to go down that academic path. We sort of trust, frankly, our partners like Elevate to know if this talent will make to the program or not. And if need be, we will do an interview to make sure your English is up to par to pass the program. So that's one. And as for accommodation, so what happens about a week before TOP starts is we have an induction day. And on that induction day, everyone's coming for the first time to do everything from uniform measurements to answering any questions you have, to understanding visa, and to accommodation. So again, we don't arrange accommodation for you. We don't act like an agent, but we say, what's your price range? Where are you looking for? Are you looking for roommates? And because again, we do this for our students anyway. We have 3,500 students at our college. We do the same for the top students. And we give those recommendations, but it will be up to you to actually sign the agreements or make the arrangements with the accommodation you find.
Yeah. So for our student, like we as 6 students for the accommodation, we have agent around this area, so it would not be a problem for.
Nice.
Okay, we are getting like some more questions.
Okay, my son will be graduate BA Honors Business Management. Mm-hmm. He will still need IELTS to attend top program. If this gentleman's son attended a BA Honors in Business Management and he studied in English, absolutely no, IELTS will not be required. If he studied in Burmese or in Thai or the rest, again, we're going to have to relate to Elevate to understand if they have the right English level to enter the program. And if there's question, we'll do the interview. But we intentionally did not make a specific IELTS or TOEFL requirement for top.
Okay, so we have one more question from Kong Thu.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that one. It's very good. So we offer almost 70 different short courses at Dusit Thani College under the Dusit Hospitality Academy. The question right now is relating to the front office management program in just 2 days. That is for people who are already front office managers or who are soon to become front office managers. And it's assuming that they have a certain foundation of knowledge already. Yeah, we do a lot of those programs. We do 1 or 2 days in revenue, in sales, in finance, front office. We even have a executive training program of 4 or 5 days. Top is for someone coming in who doesn't have hardly any experience in hospitality. You know, they need to understand everything from how the industry is actually organized, to the different brands, to the different levels, to the different departments, to different services, to different KPIs, etc. So that program is great if you already have knowledge or want to gain more knowledge. It's kind of an upskill and reskill. The top is more about getting the foundation. That's what we call it, foundation. So it's a different audience altogether. And to be fair, all those short course trainings up to now are still only offered in Thai, whereby top is now one of the first programs Dusit Thani College has offered in English in terms of short course. Again, we have English bachelor's programs, but we didn't have English short courses in top in the past.
All right, so we would like to share about the visa situation and visa process So we were invited a director from our Elevate Education Young office. So thank you for joining. So John, like student they would like to come into Thailand like without applying a tourist visa. They just want to come here like 40-day visa. So student applying for the programs like student need to have at least like 30 days, right?
It's a question for me, yeah.
Yep. So like student need to have at least 30 days, right?
Have at least what? Sorry.
30 days on their visa.
Yeah. So again, I highly suggest having the education visa in hand before you come to Thailand. Now, if you have gotten a tourist visa in Myanmar, which I think is 45 days, if they haven't changed it to 60, I know there's discussion there, but let's say it's 45 days, and they're in Bangkok, it's okay. We can convert that visa as long as we have at least 15 plus days to an education visa. But the huge risk is to do the visa on arrival. We really will not have enough time to convert that to an education visa. Please don't do that. That's very risky, and frankly, it might get rejected because it looks a bit suspicious. It's understandable if you have a tourist visa you've applied to from your country and you come to Thailand and you found a school. Okay. But finding a school in 5 days and applying to get education visa, it often gets rejected. So education visa or tourism visa for coming to Thailand, if already in Thailand and enough time, we can convert travel visa or tourist visa to education visa.
Right. So like, Ajay, do you have any suggestion for the student who would like to came into Thailand just with like visa free and then like they would like to apply into top programs? So what would your suggestion would be?
Actually, I would suggest them to apply for a visa at least to change the visa in Thailand.
Okay, so like they just already in Thailand or they just already in Bangkok. So like how can they apply for top programs? Like they go to Laos, right? And then apply tourist visa and then came back into Thailand. Like that kind of scenario, John, would you recommend?
Now, what's your question, Andrew? I didn't quite hear.
John, would you recommend like student they just go to Laos and apply DR visa, tourist visa, and then came back into Thailand and then applying for the education visa at Dusit? Would you recommend that process?
I don't want to recommend any process. I think everyone has their own personal situations, but I just say they can be in Thailand and they can have their tourism visa. As long as there's 15 or more days active on it, we should be able to convert that to an education visa. Yeah. Let's say from the date of payment, payment's the key. From the date of paying the fees to 15 days to starting the program, if that's required, we can do it. But if we're doing it in 5 days or 6 days, or a student saying, "Oh, I'm starting next week," honestly, we cannot. We really cannot. We need the time. So if they go to Laos or they go to Vietnam or wherever, as long as they have that tourism visa, yes, we can convert it. But I'm not going to give any advice on where to go or how to do it. That's up to, I think, you guys or any other experts.
Right. Okay. So like for students, like if they apply TR visa in Yangon, how long could it take to get a like TR visa?
It takes at least 2 working days to get the visa after applying. So, but they need to take the visa appointment in advance.
I mean, like they would like to apply tourist visa in Yangon. How long could it take to get the tourist visa?
Only 2 working days to get a visa.
Also, like you don't need to book.
They need to book in advance. The embassy open the.
I mean, like just 2 days, right? To get a tourist visa. Really? I thought like
Yeah.
they might need to spend like at least 2 weeks to get a tourist visa.
No, just like ED visa, they need to take 2 days to get a visa.
Mm-hmm.
And
Process
what
are
about
the same
what about
with
education visa?
education
Is
visa.
education visa take longer? Yeah.
So like you mentioned, like just like student need like just 2 days like to get a tourist visa. So like what about like they apply top program in Yangon and they just wait for the document from Dusit and then like they apply ED visa in Yangon. There'll be like a little bit better scenario for they don't even need to apply for tourist visa, right?
Yeah, they don't need to apply a tourist visa. It's better to get the document from university to apply the visa
Mm-hmm.
because
I
it's
Right, you mean
agree.
at
like
least 2 days.
Yeah. The education visa is
Okay.
what we will strongly recommend always, because we will give all the documents required for it, right? We will give the letter of acceptance, we'll give the information about the school, we'll give the receipt of payment, and a couple other documents upon, for example, on our registration with the Ministry of Higher Education. We give all those documents to the students. My understanding is that the time is not about processing the visa; it's about getting the appointment. Yeah. But please, to everybody listening, and please, Andrew, always first recommend to get the education visa. That's the safest, most secure way to do it. And we have every document to make sure they can get it. And once, as I said, if for some reason they don't get that visa, we'll refund 100% any of the fees they paid to us.
So, John, like, how long could it take after the payment? How long could it take to get a like visa supporting document after the payment?
Mm-hmm. Not long. So I have an entire team on this. So as long as we get the receipt of payment, I mean, 2-3 working days at the most, they'll have their documents. Yeah.
Okay. So it's clear now. Okay, so John, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for giving a like full presentation and like all the information that we need. So thank you. We gonna end the lecture now. So like if student like or the parents, if you have questions or anything, like please reach out to Elevate Education. Please visit our office in Yangon, Mandalay, and Bangkok. We are here to help you. So thank you, John. Thank you, Adair. Have a good night. We're gonna end. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah.